that explains the product. I'm sure you guys have probably seen Frank's, UWB ads. That's the formula right there. Introduce, educate, pitch at the end. And we'll show you some more examples of those. And those ads right there, all it is just a video of a demonstration of the product. That's all it is. Shot with an iPhone, guys. It's totally cheesy, but it works.
Okay, number 3, this is what I feel is the most important one, okay? And which you guys are all at the right place, because I don't know if there's anybody on the planet that's better at messaging than Frank, and really just understanding and teaching people how to create goodwill, but also, smoothly transition people into becoming a lead or a customer. And that's the key. That's what it's all about on Facebook. And so let's talk about this. So, real quick, Facebook, remember, is the online version of the party, right? Google is the online version of the yellow pages. People are searching for a solution, searching for something. Facebook is like a party. So you got to realize that when you show up at a party, even though you might be showing up at a party where most people there are similar to you, maybe you're you've got a fitness gym and you show up at a party where a bunch of 25 to 45-year-old women are, and that's your target audience, but that doesn't mean that they're looking for, just because they're in your age demographic or that's kind of their interest, doesn't mean that they're looking for what you have to offer, your product or service. So what you have to do is you've got to not be that guy at the party, right, who's trying to pitch you 30 seconds after shaking your hand. Anybody ever met that guy 30 seconds after talking to you, he was talking about his business opportunity? Okay, most people running Facebook ads, that's what they're doing. Okay, they're using traditional, just direct response, benefit-oriented copy. They're not talking to people like a conversation. They're not like building a relationship. If Ralph and I meet each other at a party, we're going to talk. We're going to ask each other questions, right? Yeah. And what do? You might ask me what I do. Maybe I'm a financial advisor, and then we start talking, and then he might, well, what do you specialize in? And then I might start telling him of the power. People don't realize the amount of savings that they could be having right now, or that they could be literally building up a college fund for their son or daughter by the time they're 18, have all of their college tuition paid for. And I could be telling you this, if that was my thing, you're passionate about it, right? So anybody here, whatever you raise your hand if you're passionate about what you deliver, like your product or service. Okay, so as we go into this, think about when you're creating your message, how do you talk to people when you meet somebody, when somebody intros you at a party and they ask you about your business, or if somebody were to email you and refer a friend, how would you explain that to them? That's how you want to talk to people. That's the important thing. That's the key.
Remember, it's a social network, right? Some of you guys probably do pay-per-click advertising, I would imagine. A lot. Maybe some display, banners, all that stuff. Facebook is a place where people don't go necessarily to click on ads. But if your ad speaks to them and you maintain that social element and you understand this platform is different, you'll have far more success, which means all you just really need to do is just be genuine and authentic. I think that's one of the biggest things that we have all realized in the last, especially 12 months, is that, John Carlton headlines don't necessarily work in Facebook ads. Some of our worst ad copy is our best ad copy because it converts, because it's genuine, it's real, you're on a social platform. So as much as you can do that in your advertising, the better off you'll be.
Your ads get approved that way, too.
Your ads get approved, exactly.
So you guys want to see some examples? All right, cool. We got tons of examples here, and we should have some time for Q&A as well. So this is actually a webinar that's running right now, and I think this is one that I sent you, Frank, recently. And this ad here is, see the image on the right and the one on the left there? It's actually the same. It's a video ad. It's a 6-minute video. So the first 20 seconds is me on camera, and then it switches just to a screen flow presentation. That's all it is. It's just recording a keynote. Okay, it's a keynote presentation. And similar to one of Frank's videos, which is a 12-minute version, it's very similar to this. But in this ad, there's a lot of things going on here, okay, that I want to talk about that you can really take, and it doesn't matter what industry that you're in at all.
And it's not by mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
It's carefully calculated to look like it's casual. So,
And we all know who else is really good at that. Okay, so this one here. I start out with a question, and you don't always have to start out with a question, okay? But what I normally do is, in this case, it's a video ad. So for me, the first half of the ad copy is to get them to watch the video, right? And to get their guard down. And then the second half is to get them to want to click through and take action on the next page. Remember, it's not about the cheapest click, okay? It's not about that. It's not about the highest click-through rate. It's about getting qualified people to your landing pages that want to take action with you. Because remember, you're interrupting them. They're not searching for what you have to offer, so you've got to be able to do this. So in this case, I lead with some credibility. If you can do that, try to lead with credibility. You don't always have to do that. This is B2B, right? This is targeting business owners. So I add that, after spending $750,000 a month, so that gives me the credibility. But I was doing this when those numbers were 10% of that, right? It doesn't have to be that big. Anything sounds, if that's your space. The point is just if you can have some credibility, if that's the situation, not always the case. A question can work really well. But the point here is that then in this video, and actually towards the ad, you don't have to actually see this. It's small, but here I talk about 3 biggest mistakes that people are making on Facebook, and I list them out in the ad copy. Okay, so they know that I list them out, and then. So I list out what they're going to learn on the webinar, and then what they're going to learn in the video at the top, and then also at the bottom of it, I actually list out what they're going to learn on the webinar that they're registering for. Okay, in this video here, what I do is I talk about some big changes Facebook's making, but then I give them some juice. So that slide, it's the same thing you guys saw, right? I give them the potential target audience size is 400,000 to 2 million. And so this is a video in Facebook where I'm providing value, giving them some good, some good stuff, right? Some good meat, but I'm also seeding the webinar. So I'm teaching and seeding. We're going to show you consumer-based stuff where you do this in a slightly different way, like with Drew's stuff. But teaching and seeding. So this way, guess what people do when they see this? Even if they don't watch the video, they'll share it. Because they see the ad copy is like, wow, 3 biggest mistakes. They're listing it out, and this must be valuable. So some people will share this even if they don't watch the video because the ad copy looks so like it's got great information. And if
look at how long that copy is, too. I mean, that's almost a blog post. I mean, we have copy ads that are running that are twice that length, right in the newsfeed. And it's being shared so much because there's so much valuable information in there. And then also you have the video. So, I mean, front-end facing, you're educating, you're informing, you're teaching, and then you're transitioning to your pitch. So you get their attention by, all videos start on silent, right? We've all seen them scrolling through our newsfeed. We want to stop the thumb, really, because everyone's thumbing on their newsfeed. Stop the thumb, click to hear about important Facebook changes. If you're interested in Facebook advertising, chances are you might click on that, or you might stop and click and turn up the volume and see what he has to say. How's that one doing ROI-wise?
It's really good. Yeah, I mean, right now it's generated about 3 to 1 ROI within the first 4 to 7 days on an automated webinar, and the follow-up sequence isn't even done. It's like
we have to shut it off all the time because we run.
Yeah, well, and the book one is I've got another one similar to this that I didn't put up here but where I've got a 9-minute video where it's taking people to a sales page. If we have time during the Q&A, I'll show it. It's at the end. It's a 9-minute video, giving them same thing, giving them some tips, but then talking about how they can get my book for free and pay for shipping. And then I say, hey, I'm actually losing money on shipping because I know that 4 out of 10 people that buy the book actually take us up on a 30-day trial for my Facebook Ads University. And because it's so good, most people stick for almost a year. So in this video, what's happening is I'm being authentic, but I'm also selling the next step. Notice how I do that? Okay, it's really, really subtle, but it's important to be authentic, but also to talk about how awesome your stuff is. We've got some people that you can, and that goes right to a sales page where they have to opt in to get the free book, and we're generating customers in that other ad, if we have time, I'll show it, for less than $5 per customer, okay? Less than $5 per customer, $2 leads, $4 to $5 per customer, and we run out of books. Like we spend $500 on Facebook and we're out of 100 books. It's crazy. Now, this one, same thing. This one's averaging about a $3 cost per lead in cold traffic. But more importantly, they're showing up for the webinar, and their average webinar, an evergreen webinar, they're staying for an hour and 10 minutes, average, okay? And they're buying. So it's not just about getting the cheap clicks. Frank does an amazing job of this as well. Like the video ads that he's running, it's the same thing. They want to open your emails, right? So there's a lot to this. Always, if you're doing a video ad like this, always put the link in the post copy itself as well, especially if it's a sidebar ad, because if they click on a sidebar ad, it'll pop up into a new window, so your video will be here, and then your post area where the ad copy is on the right, and you want to have that link in there. So, but one other thing important on this one that you'll notice on some other ones, this is a stat that we actually talk about in the podcast, episode that's going live next week, but notice here, this one during the screenshot had 384 likes or reactions and 193 shares. So last time I looked, I don't know, I think this is a brand new ad, was 400 likes and 200 shares. So that's a ratio. This is important. You won't hear anybody talking about this, but this is a leading indicator, I'm telling you, that you can use. Don't compare your stuff to my stuff or some of these other examples. Compare it to other ads that you've done, okay? Think about this. So for every 2 people that like this, 1 people are sharing it, 2 to 1, right? So 400 likes, 200 shares. When you run ads on Facebook, you're gonna get likes. It's just what happens, right? It's a residual effect. But a lot of times when you're targeting the B2B space, business owners, you might have 100 likes and 5 or 10 shares, right? And guess what? If that's the case, that would be like a 10 to 1 ratio, right? Then your relevance scores are probably pretty low. So Facebook has a thing called relevance score, where you can look at once you get down to your ad level, and they'll give you a score from 1 to 10. Pretty simple. And it's basically how many people, it's positive feedback versus negative feedback, and the higher relevance score you have, the cheaper clicks you get, and the more impressions you get, basically. But this right here, you can figure out what your relevance scores are gonna be right out of the gate. If you're getting people to share that, a lot of people to share that ad, okay, your relevance score is gonna be high. This one here is averaging 8 to 10 relevance score, B2B. And I was running a video ad like 10 months ago to a different webinar. It was more traditional, like, benefits of the webinar, and it wasn't as authentic as this. And the relevant scores are around 4 to 6 on cold traffic, 5 to 7 probably, and just not as much ROI. It's just because we shifted the messaging.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, so this is taking people to a webinar registration page, basic, don't need to go through that, okay? Now, real quick, okay, everybody here, we're gonna take 20 seconds to close your eyes and just picture your potential customer, okay, that's on Facebook. So your audience, your potential audience, they're on Facebook, maybe they're riding in the train, they're at home, maybe sitting on the couch watching TV, scrolling the newsfeed on their iPad or their iPhone, or they're at their desktop, and then they see your ad, okay, they see an ad, and what happens with the top of that ad typically, the first thing that they see, if it's in the newsfeed, it's a post, but it says sponsored, right? So what do you think happens in their mind when they see a sponsored post? The first thing that happens is metaphorically, okay, subconsciously, their guard is coming up. So you're closing your eyes, picture their fists up like they're in the boxing ring ready to start a fight, right? Because they see that sponsored and they don't want to see that. So they're automatically defense mechanisms are up. What your mission is to do is how fast can you get them to take their guard down? That's it. It's that simple. And there's a lot of ways to do it. So you use Facebook's algorithm to use their targeting, and then use your messaging. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. And that's how you want to be thinking and with your ads. You can do that with social proof. You can do that with messaging, lots of things, being authentic. So another great example here. And this one here, basically, this is another video, but it's about a 6-minute video that originally was for YouTube, right, Ralph? Yep, and just Facebookized it, okay?
About 11 minutes.
Oh, this is an 11-minute video. No, it's 11 superfoods. No, maybe it is.
Yep.
Anyway, it's a long video, longer than most people would think would work, right? And this video here this is important. Watch this video about 11 of my favorite nutrient-dense healing superfoods and how you can get them naturally for less than $2 a day. So the hook of this video is he's showing these superfoods and where you can get them in the grocery store. It's nothing about his product, right? Which is a supplement. That's the key. So he's actually delivering value. And so guess what people are going to do when they see that? They're going to share it. And guess what happens when they share it? Yeah, you get free organic reach and stuff like that. But more importantly, when people share it, like I said, those ratios are high. It tells Facebook that your ad is improving the user experience. And you get cheaper clicks and more impressions. That's the key. So
But the formula is the same, really.
Yeah.
I mean, for these, unless you're selling a physical product on Facebook, I mean, you can sell right on Facebook. We certainly do tons of lead gen. I don't want to discount that whatsoever, but I mean, I think this is the most groundbreaking stuff that we found in the last year, is that you can sell directly by giving value, okay? He hooks you in, there's sort of a pattern interrupt to start, okay? And then talks about these 11 superfoods and why they're so important. And then the transition is they're really important, but first off, they're hard to find. You have to shop for them. They're expensive. So I've distilled them all down into this one powder to make your life easier. So there's your transition at the end. So that's the formula. And then we end with a call to action. And people end up, as you can see, 1.2 well, I think that's actually way
1,800
now.
way
But I
more
mean,
now.
there's likes, there's shares, people are sharing, they're commenting, they have a community manager that can barely keep up with the comments. I mean, that's the kind of stuff. So you're educating, you're informing, you're getting their guard down, but then of course you're pitching. Nothing wrong with pitching, especially if it's a logical solution. You just presented them with great information. Now I'm going to make your life easier by buying my stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
And
that's it.
That's like 3-to-2 ratio on that case. So like
Yeah.
you said, there's more 1,800 likes and 1,200 shares. So it tells Facebook it works, and guess what? They show up at a sales page, and a percentage of people will buy.
We're already warmed up.
Yeah, and targeting is pretty easy, using lookalike audiences and some interest-based targeting as well. Now, this is, for those of you that, we do a lot of video. We're definitely doing more and more video because it works so well. And I know some of you, that's kind of scary, even though, like I said, you can use Keynote. You don't even have to be on camera with video. This is a non-video one here. But notice this is another one, longer copy. That's the same ad. It's just when you click see more, you see the whole ad on the right there. And Ralph can kind of hit on this one here too as well.
Well, this is just this is a video series. This is a lead magnet, but we're trying to pre-frame them. This is obviously to coaches. Okay? So we pre-frame them to really want to take the action that we want them to take on the next page, get the click. And by pre-framing them, we do it with a lot of copy that shows them what this thing is all about. And then it also hits on the pain points. That first headline is one that we probably tested 20 different versions of. And we realized that this audience doesn't want to be a six-figure coach. Like the customer was pushing us to say that, but this audience actually likes, became a coach for a reason, your mission to serve and transform lives. So that speaks to them. It's really important to get your messaging down, because this is sort of the result of, I would say, 10 or 12 different ads that didn't really work, but this is the one that really did. So, and all it is a click, goes to a landing page, they opt in, and in the coaching niche, that's $2 leads that we're getting right now.
Yep, and this here, notice here, right here, it doesn't matter if you can't read it, I'll read it. We've taken those powerful yet simple principles and created this 5-part video training series, Abundant Coach, where you will, and then 1, 2, 3. It shows you what they're getting. Notice how it's put it all out there. We use short copy as well in campaigns, but especially if you don't already have a big brand that people recognize, this is the stuff that you want to do, okay? People are hovering over your ads longer. They'll share it more. Now, in this case, he's got a 1.2, 1,200, and 300 shares. That's still good. That's like 4 to 1 if you're targeting B2B, okay? When I say B2B, like if you're targeting people that are into a passion, like, guns or survival or something like that, or fitness, a lot of times they're going to be more shares, typically. But it's when you're getting, like, if this had 1,200 shares, or 1,200 likes and it only had 100 shares, then we have some issues with this probably. And it would just affect our costs. So another good one here. This is great. So this is, and I'll let Ralph touch on this one too, because these guys are doing massive volume. And this is a little bit, strategy-wise, it's simpler, but it's still really the same as far as just showing people. Like, you can talk about a few of these different ones. Let's see what the next one is real quick. Yeah, it's just similar. So.
Yeah, I mean, they're simple. I mean, this is ad copy. We're actually not running this ad copy anymore. because we changed our audiences to be above 65. But in essence, this is an offer that it's a free plus shipping offer with a continuity on the back end. And this is a link post ad. This is not a video. We since have found that videos for this lowered our cost per acquisition by 50%, which is really just showing the product being used.
Demonstration videos.
A demonstration of it, super slow motion, how it works, why it's different than other types of targets. So
low tech iPhone.
Low tech. It's actually, the video is so pathetic, it's the customer on his iPhone taking a video of his computer screen. Because he couldn't figure out how to get it to me, so I was like, I'll just shoot it here. And so I was like, all right, good enough. It's kind of like got a reflection on it, and you can kind of see him sort of in the back. It's awful. But it converts, like the acquisition is half what we were getting on these.
They're spending...
So you don't need to be a video genius to do it.
Yeah.
So...
And
anyway.
all of them are like that. No face in it. They're just showing demonstrations of how to lube up guns and stuff like that without showing the whole gun. But we're talking $5,000 to $10,000 a day in ad spend with all of their different products. Super basic, low tech. And that's what their audience likes. Think about it. It doesn't look like an ad either, right? It looks like somebody shared a video on Facebook because their friends are on Facebook. So
yeah, the next one's probably a better example of not looking like an ad.
yes, right here.
We tested this ad copy, about 50 different versions, and this ad copy was the one that won. I mean, you don't need to be Frank Kern to write copy like that. I mean, I never thought this would work. We just threw it in there. We actually found that ad copy by searching for this particular can opener on Amazon, and it was a review. That's where we get some of our best ad copy. Some of the most helpful reviews that you see on Amazon for a similar product to yours or a similar service. Pull that ad copy out. Don't copy it, obviously, but then throw it in your ad copy. And this was actually an Amazon review about some guy's grandpa. So, and that's the one that works. It's a video. It's 10 seconds. I think it's 27 seconds, something like that. So, anyway.
Anybody seen this one? All right, yep. So this is very similar to the first one that I showed of me. This is a longer one, but same thing. Frank's on camera for like 10, 15 seconds, and then it goes to just a presentation. Okay, low tech. And the same thing, pattern interrupt. If you want, we could probably show a couple of those, the pattern interrupt. And in the video that I showed, I actually could stop at the beginning of it, and he kind of does something similar too. He's like, hey, so sometimes we do something to get them to stop in the news feed, and then we use the text overlay. Text overlay is very important in the beginning of your videos, especially. If it's a super short, like a 30-second video, you can either use annotations or text overlay, just editing. Yeah, we'll see if that's ready for the Q&A.
It's pretty simple. I mean, there's definitely some ad copywriting in there. I mean, obviously, this speaks to the avatar for this one. This is obviously targeted at coaches, and those draw out coaches. We've got brackets on the headline on the bottom. So, I mean, there is some sort of traditional kind of stuff that's in there, but we've got probably about 30 different variations of that copy, and that's one of the best ones right there. So.
And it's the same format though, right? So in this case, it's a video ad, but the top part of the ad copy is hey coach, want to explode your coaching business? Click below to watch this free training. So the first half is about watching the video, consuming the ad, right? The second half is opting in for the webinar. And like Ralph said, there's some longer copy, same thing. There's more at the top that's about getting them to watch the video, and then the second half is getting them.
Think about that. Somebody becomes a lead of yours, and this is to a webinar. So, I mean, it's an investment of time, it's not an investment of money. So I would say that this is almost like a traditional tripwire. A registration for a webinar it's an investment of time, right? So you're not just giving name and email. So the more you can pre-frame those people by indoctrinating them into what it is that you do, in this case, Frank's teaching something, and it's really valuable. And then there's a pitch. Hey, do you want more of this? Then register for my webinar. It's that simple. When, if you guys are selling information products or that kind of stuff, that really works well.
Yep. So. And you can do the same thing with text only. If you don't use a video, you can still kind of teach at the beginning, give them some good stuff, almost like sometimes we'll tell people if they've got a blog post that's working really well and then they've got a call to action at the end of that blog post, I'll say, hey, try turning that blog post into an ad. Like put the whole thing in the ad itself and see what happens. and you'd be surprised. And then, so they're taking them right, instead of linking to the blog post, they're actually linking to the opt-in page, right? So, okay, so another one here. This is a shorter video. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this one as well. Yep, so this one here, leading with, similar to the way I led with mine, right? Are you currently selling information online or want to sell information online? Are you a business owner? For me, sometimes I'll say, are you a business owner struggling to get Facebook ads to work for you? Are you a health coach struggling to get clients?
Your dog whistling out your avatar in that first, that question, like I would say probably about 80 to 90% of our ads, we usually use some kind of question. Just because people want to, us as humans, we want the answer to a question, especially if it's something that's relevant to me. So, and this is in all kinds of niches, but questions as your first line, that draws them in, and then we want them to watch the video. So draw them in, and then get them to do what you want them to do.
And remember, when you're running video ads, Facebook, you guys might know this as well, but you can create custom audiences based off your video viewers, and you can create lookalike audiences, which are cold audiences based off of your video viewers. And Facebook is now rolling out, not very many people have this yet, but they've rolled out a new feature where you can create lookalike custom audiences, so retargeting lists, and lookalike audiences based off of people who have watched 10 seconds of your video, 25% of your video, 50% of your video, 75% of your video, or 95% of your video. That's a big deal. So for those of you that don't have a list or anything yet, don't have any fans, but you're like, well, how can I create a lookalike audience? Well, run a 4-minute video, 5-minute video, and create a lookalike audience based off people who watched 50% of that. And the views will build up pretty quick, right? Because that means they're engaged. Now, most of you probably don't have that yet in your account, but you will soon. So if you don't yet. Yep. So, okay, another example here. I actually go through this ad I created with my designer and assistant. Okay, she's not an ads manager. She's never created an ad before in her life. We recorded this. I actually have a video of this inside our Facebook Ads University. It's a 30-minute screen flow. And I got Rachel on. So what happened was Rachel's 23 years old, and she's got a 6-month-old puppy, and it's a Siberian Husky, and she had this mass disorder, and she can't get her food down without just coughing or like almost throwing up her food, and it's just immense pain. And so somebody helped her create a GoFundMe page to raise money because she raised a few $100s from friends and family, and she wasn't able to pay the vet bills. They didn't know what was wrong, so they kept having to go back and stuff. And so Shanette, who's my ops manager, asked me to maybe contribute, and I said, I don't want to just contribute. Let's do something cool here, okay? Let's run some Facebook ads, right? And so what we did was I said, okay, Rachel, could you make a video? And she goes, actually, I got like a 20-second video that I made for the vet. I go, okay, we're going to make a video ad, and then we're going to record it so our members can see how we did it, how easy this actually is, okay, to do. And we did this in a half an hour. And so she came up with the ad copy. I said, just tell the story, basically, okay? She made this video, and the dog eats the food, and it's like barking in just immense pain, right? And then we cut it off before she throws it up because it's bad. It's really painful, right? So then we do this little video, add some text overlay, click the link in the post to help pay for the medical bills, and then you can see that she tells the story about my fiance and ourselves, ran out of money for this, basically, which is true. And then when they click through, they land. Oh, did I take that off? Darn it! I took the actual one off, but that's all right. I think we have it on another presentation. That's the last one, but basically we take them to a GoFundMe, and we've raised the full amount. So it's pretty crazy. So I can pull it up right here, actually.
So a video ad raised how many dollars? $8,000 to cold traffic.
Right here. So this right here, we started spending like $50 a day, then bumped it down to like $20 a day. And within literally a few weeks, about a month or so, she wanted to get 7,000. It's at 7,000 now. We turned it off, okay? So she raised the money, and check this. I got to read this. I took it out of the presentation, but so this is about a month ago. I checked in and said, how's the dog doing? And she emails me, blah, 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 we're no longer in pain. And then she says here, I just want to thank you so much so much. I can never thank you enough for your help in this. I can't believe how much you put into her campaign. I never expected that. I can honestly say that if it weren't for the ad, I don't think Akira would be here. Because without that ad, I think we could only get $500 from friends and family, which wouldn't have been enough. For her medical bills have added up now, so thank you again so much. I've definitely learned the power of Facebook as well through this process, and it's incredible. So it's pretty cool to what you can do with this platform, you know, if you just get creative and think out of the box. That's what you have to do. And we spent a lot of time showing you ads that messaging, and because that's the thing, man, tap into Facebook targeting, their algorithm, and do something different than everybody else out there is doing, and you guys will win. That's the key. It might not win right out of the gate, but you've got to keep, really keep trying on it. So let's see here. That's really it for the presentation. I don't know if you guys want to have Q&A or not. I think we're out of time here, but for dominatewebmedia.com I've got up on here too. If you want. That's our main website. So if you want, we've got tons of free trainings. And I actually added one. I can add it to here too. If you want a free $1 trial, I created a link real quick. If you go to dominatewebmedia.com/Frank, I've got a $1 trial to our Facebook Ads University where we do live webinars every 2 weeks. Ralph and I usually do. We've got tons of recorded webinars in there. And I've also got a fast start training. It's like a 7 steps to get momentum. First target audience, some of that stuff I showed you, how to use the Power Editor. We've got some even more elaborate courses you can get into down the road if you want, but that's just a really good way to get into our community. We've got about 850 members in our private community. It's a really active group. Our team's in there, and it's pretty cool. So. And
we'll be around. We're going to be hanging around because a lot of you guys had questions that we did not answer, and I believe we're out of time.
Why don't we take about 10 more minutes if you guys want?
Okay. Cool.
Okay, perfect. Sweet, let's do it.
We've got to take in the back.
Yeah.
Is there a mic?
You guys need mics
for
the questions? Or not?
Is there a mic for questions? Or maybe just yell it out. We can hear you.
Yell it out. I can repeat it.
This is Nancy. My first question is, you talk about website conversions. I am having problems with conversions, but I usually get confused between PPE, like page post engagement, or website conversions. That's my first question. I usually do PPE.
Mm-hmm. What's your
the first
objective?
thing, Keith, I learned from you a long time ago too, because you don't know me, but I have your book with Perry Marshall.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Sweet.
Nice.
Love it.
So the first thing is, I usually do page post engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same thing as website conversions?
No.
No.
What's your goal?
My goal is to sell, to make money.
All right, good goal. So, what action do you want them to take when you send them back to your first action?
This is the real issue, I say. I get 476 comments a day. I'm already out of my voice because I get to talk to a lot of people in a day, but I'm not getting the money I want. But I'm getting just the wonderful stories that I get engaged and talk to a lot of people.
Sure. So what I recommend doing, that's a great question, by the way. When you boost a post from your Facebook page, we recommend doing this all the time. I do this all the time. I like to boost a post. If I'm going to run ads to that, and that way the post will be on your Facebook page when they go visit your Facebook page, and they'll see that there's a lot of comments and likes on it because you've been running ads to that. But when you boost it, Facebook automatically they use the campaign objective page post engagement, which is PPE, right? Yes. So that's okay. Boost it for $20 or $50. Yes. But then go into the ads manager, preferably the Power Editor, and create a new campaign using website conversions. Okay. You can use that existing post as the post. You can create the ad itself. You can upload the image, create the ad copy in the Power Editor, which we do most of the time. However, if you have a post on your page that you boosted, you can select that as your creative, and it's already done for you, but you're using the website conversions as the objective, and then you can now optimize based on whatever you're trying to sell, that conversion.
Right, so
Oh.
as a general rule, if you wanted to promote a blog post, use page post engagement or clicks to website, okay? If you want them to opt in, get a name and an email, or sell them something, all those campaigns that are video ad campaigns, they're all website conversions. I don't think we showed a singular campaign. So think about that. I want somebody to convert on my website, use that conversion, website conversions. If you want them to engage with your site or just get clicks to your site or clicks to a blog post and then retarget them or use that later, use clicks to website or page post engagement. So.
Okay, so next question is the new pixel only or the last pixel last time, like
We use both of them right now.
both of them?
Yep.
That's a
And I have another question.
the last one.
Well, I usually do what you say about the broad thing, and I'm spending like maybe $200 a day. Well, you say more is better, right?
More what?
Well, you said
Bigger audience?
bigger audience, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. If, as long as it's targeted, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, because I know Facebook works for me, right?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
I understand how lookalike audiences are like the bomb.
Yep.
If you're just starting out and you don't have a list or any customers, what do you recommend for ice cold traffic?
Okay, so if you're brand new, just starting out, his question is, I understand lookalike audiences are the bomb, which they are, but if you're just, this is a great question, by the way. If you're just starting out and you don't have any assets at all, you don't have the list, you don't have the fans to create lookalike audiences, what do? Well, the first thing you're going to do is just use the interest targeting, okay? So use the interest targeting. So go into in Facebook, there's a lot of ways to research interest targeting, but Facebook's Ads Manager is the best now. I mean, you can go in there and figure out who your favorite, your industry leaders are, you know, experts, authorities, magazines, those types of things. And so, like, what's your industry? What's your industry?
I've been a chief marketing officer
Okay.
for years, like long-term
Yep.
year engagements, and I want to help more people.
Yeah, so help more people, chief marketing officer. So let's say you're one of the biggest companies in your industry. So let's just say you're targeting, maybe you can go in and you can do topic targeting too. You can go in and do workplace. So you can target somebody that's an exec, like a CEO. Yep. You could start there. Yep. Interest-based.
If you're targeting those specific people, specifically for your offer, there is a section inside interest targeting for CEOs, CMOs, CFOs, and then you just hit suggestion, and it just starts giving you more and more and more and more.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good place to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and when you're just starting out, try to keep them as separate as you can so you can see how they do. Like if I'm targeting, I might put in Infusionsoft for an audience, and then I'll have that as its own ad set. But then underneath, Facebook will recommend other stuff. Like they'll put digital marketer and those types of things that are similar, right? And then that will really help you. And then we tell people to, we've got a target audience module in there, but too as well. But just start creating a Google Doc spreadsheet and do all your research and just start listing them all out, and then that'll help you. Okay. Cool. We're out of time. So I hope that was helpful for you all. And kick some butt. Cool. Cool. All right.
So he's going to try to sneak up on you, man. That can't be all. Thanks, fellas.
You bet.
That was fantastic. All right, these guys are sticking around for a bit if you want to attack them in the hallway. Perhaps extract some of their blood in a syringe and drink it. That's what works well for me when they're asleep. Guys, we're going to take just a quick break. Let's do 15 minutes just to sort of make up for a little bit of lost time. Therefore, whatever time it is now, my watch is never right. This is effectively glory. Come back in 15.